Time to read some books. Go read your book, Johnny. Stupid. Um, the Hedge Knight. So I want to read up until where we are now. I think I will. Clearly, I mean, Baylor dies. I will be tempted to read a little bit into because I did see the sneak peek for episode 6. Um, he talks to Makar, and he does say that Egg will only accept Dunk as his what's it called, as his squire, him as be uh to be his squire. He only wants him to be his knight. Whatever. Um, people are saying that people are saying that what's it called? People are saying that Doug may actually be knighted this episode. Who knows? Probably not. I don't think so. I think he just has to be a knight. I don't know. Let's just get on to reading it. Hopefully I don't get who knows? I'm gonna have to read it page to page. Hopefully it's not like copyright or something like that. Yeah. I'm a small. I want to enlarge it actually. It's a full screen. So what does it look like? God damn! God damn! God damn! My fault, OG. I didn't know he was packing like this. All right. Okay. This is not Sir Arlen. No, it is Sir Arlen of Penny Tree. Of Peanut Street. Sorry. All right, Daddy. So let's begin. Oh, you still can't see it, which is unfortunate. Okay, I can zoom in. I said, oh, I don't think I can actually. Can I zoom in? Hmm. Don't think I can zoom in. That is unfortunate. I'm not going to hold you. That is very unfortunate. Let me see if I can zoom in. No, this should be a zoom in button. That's kind of stupid. Anyway, let's get to reading. The story offered her takes place about 100 years prior to the events described in a Game of Thrones. Okay, I should put a pillow. That's next time. I don't want to delay any further. The spring rains had softened the ground, so Dunk had no trouble digging the grave. He chose a spot on the western slope of a low hill, for the old man had always loved to watch the sunset. Another day done, we would sigh. He would sigh, and who knows what the morrow will bring us, eh, Dunk? Well, one morrow had brought rains that soaked them to the bones, and the ones after had brought wet gust winds, and the next a chill. Down by the fourth day, the old man was too weak to ride, and now he was gone. Only a few days had passed. I'm sorry. Now he was gone. Only a few days passed. He had been singing as they rode the old song about going to Goldtown to see a fair maid, but instead of Goldtown, he'd sung of Ashford, off to Ashford to see the fair maid. Hi-yo, hi-yo, Doug thought miserably as he dug. Damn. So I remember that scene. Hi-yo, hi-yo, Sir Arlen. So that's really cool. I think so. Maybe I'm mixing some scenes up. Anyway, let's keep on going. When the hole was deep enough. Okay. Damn, Doug thought miserably as he dug. That's very sad. When the hole was deep enough, he lifted the old man's body in his arms and carried him there. He had been a small man, and slim, stripped of hauberk helm and sword belt. He seemed to weigh no more than a bag of leaves. Duck was Duck was hugely tall for his age, a shabbling, shaggy, big-boned boy of 16 or 17 years. No one was quite certain which. So they said he was 19 years old. He's 17. God damn, he's like 7 feet tall. He has to be like 19 years old, I'll say. No one was quite certain which, who stood closer to 7 feet than to 6, and had only just begun to fill out his frame. The old man had often praised his strength. He had always been generous in his praise. It was all he had to give. He laid him out in the bottom of the grave and stood over him for a time. The smell of rain was in the air again, and he knew he ought to fill the hole before it broke. But it was hard to throw dirt down on the tired old face. Wow, there ought to be a septon here to say some prayers over him, but he only has me. The old man had taught Dunk all he knew, swords and shields and lances, but had never been much good at teaching him words. Wow. I leave your sword, but it would rust in the ground, he said at last, apologetic. The gods will give you a new one, I guess. I wish you didn't die, sir. He paused, uncertain that else needed to be said. He didn't know any prayers, not all the way through. The old man had never been much for praying. You were a true knight, and um, you never beat me when I didn't deserve it. He finally managed. Don't matter now. Except that one time in Maidenpool, it was the inn boy who ate the widow's woman's pie, not me. That's cool. They actually took that from the books. I told you it. He just says the lines like out loud. Like he says the actual lines like out loud. That's not really hard to convey. I don't know why they just didn't do that shit in Game of Thrones. Anyway, the gods keep you. Okay, let me at least try to go with. You're a true knight and you never beat me. It's a woman's pride on me. I told you it don't matter now. The gods keep you, sir. He kicked dirt in the hole. They began to fill it methodically, never looking at the thing at the bottom. He had a long life, Dunk thought. He must have been closer to 60 than to 50. And how many men can say that? At least he had lived to see another spring. A lot of people die in Game of Thrones. I mean, his world. In real life, you know, medieval times. I still can't zoom in, and I'm pretty pissed about that shit. One way to zoom in would be to exit full screen. See, I still can't zoom in. I still can't zoom in. Thanks, thanks, thanks a lot. Wow. All right. Oh man. Hopefully, I'm gonna just the camera. Let's go. The sun was The sun was westering as he had the horses. The sun was westering as he fed the horses. There, there were three. This sway. Okay, hold up. Okay, just hold up. Let's just move it as close as humanly possible. So I have to squint my eyes. Yeah, nice and close. It sucks I can't zoom in. You know what I'm gonna do? That's what I'm gonna do. Yep. You need to be able to read it your damn self. Excuse me. Yep. That's the best way to do it, I suppose. I'll just have to adjust the. It's not. I'll just have to adjust it, I suppose. Yeah, good enough. At least you can see it. Okay. The sun was westering as he fed the horses. There were three: his swayback stock, the old man's palfrey, and Thunder, the war horse he was ridden only in tourney and battle. The big brown stallion was not as swift, as strong as he had once been, but he still had his bright eye and fierce spirit. and it was more valuable than everything else Dunk owned. Damn! If I sold the Thunder and Old Chestnut and the saddle, and the saddles and bridles too, I come away with enough silver to dunk dunk frown. Only life he knew was a life of a hedge knight, riding from helm keep to keep, taking service with this lord and that lord, fighting in their battles and eating in their halls until the war was done. Then moving on, there were tourneys from time to time as well, though less often, and he knew that some Hegites turned robber during lean winters. The old man had never some Hegites had turned robber, some big robber night. That was so funny when they named drunk. Anyway, I could find another hedge knight in need of a squire to tend his uh, to tend his animals and clean his mail. How do I look on the screen? Oh, it doesn't really matter because I'm small. Okay, let's just keep on going. I could find another hitchhike in the squire to his animals and clean his mail, he thought. Or or be I could go to some city, to Lannisport or King's Landing, and join a city watch, or else. He had piled the old man's things under an oak. The cloth purse contained 3 silver stags, 19 copper pennies, and a yeah, he says he wants a squire, so he's probably not a knight. He's just like on the low. He says he was a knight wasn't a squire for somebody. He had piled the old man's things under an oak. The cloth purse contained 3 silver stags, 19 copper pennies, and a chipped garnet. Like most head knights, the greatest part of his worldly wealth had been tied up in his horses and weapons. Duck now owned a chain mail hauberk that he had hmm, that he had scoured the rust that he had scoured the rust off 1,000 times. An iron half-helm with a nasal, an iron half-helm with a broad nasal, and a dent on the left temple. A sword belt of cracked brown leather, and a long sword in a wood and leather scabbard. A dagger, a razor, a whetstone, greaves and gorgers, an 8 foot war lance of turned ash sorry, topped by a cruel iron point, and an oaken shield with a scarred metal rim, bearing the sigil of Sir Arlen of Pennytree, a winged chalice, silver on brown. Okay? Dunk looked at the shield, scooped up the sword belt, and looked at the shield again. The belt was made for the old man's skinny hips. It would never do for him, no more than a hauberk would. He tied the scabbard to a length of hempen rope, knotted it around his waist, and drew the long sword. The blade was straight and heavy, good castle-forged steel. The grip, soft leather wrapped over wood. The pommel a smooth, polished black stone. Plain as it was, the sword felt good in his hands, and went to sleep. And Dunk knew how sharp it was, having worked it with whetstone and oilcloth many a night before they went to sleep. It fits my grip. It fits my grip as well as it ever fit his, he thought to himself. And there is a tourney at Ashford Meadow. Sweetfoot had an easier um, Sweetfoot had an easier gait than Old Chestnut, but Dunk was still sore and tired when he spied the inn ahead, a tall daub and timber building beside, so he doesn't take a shit. Thanks. Beside a stream, the warm yellow light spilling from its windows looked so in, inviting that he could not pass it by. I have 3 silvers, he told himself, enough for a good meal and as much ale as I care to drink. God damn, nigga. As he dismounted, a naked boy emerged dripping from the stream and began to dry himself on a rough-spun brown cloak. "Are you a stable boy?" Dunk asked him. The lad looked to be no more. Then immediately he sees egg. So I got spoiled that that's egg. Shout out to streamers. Oh, blah, 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 blah. This happened in the stream. This happened in the books. So this is the difference. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Goddamn. We came here for you to talk about the episode, not for you to spoil the goddamn books. Goddamn. Anyway, as he dismounted, a naked boy emerged, dripping from the stream, and began to dry himself on a rough-spun brown cloak. Are you a stable boy? Dunk asked him. The lad looked to be no man. He's naked, no more than 8 or 9. A pasty-faced, skinny thing, his bare feet cacked in mud up to his ankle. His hair was the holy shit. I'm about to read this at work. 100%. I'm about to read this at work, guys. Throughout the night, I'll just read this book like live, like during, like that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, because like I work, you don't worry about what I work, but you'll see me working. I'm gonna disguise myself, and we'll be reading. So I'm gonna like read a little bit here. Maybe we'll get to like we'll stop because like this is I didn't realize how like my mouth could get just like tired. I want to read, but I do have to record like anime and stuff. So like maybe we'll read like 2 more pages and then we'll stop. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. And I'm up. Yep, 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 yep. Uh, and I do need to check if like somebody's in the chat. Nobody's in the chat. Please say something if you are watching live. Like, subscribe if you made it here. Bada bing, bada boom. Uh, Damn, ADHD, dude. Smoking weed. Anyway, Duck looked at the shield, blah, 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 blah. See, easier to also, he was looking at the naked boy. Duck asked him the lad to be more than 8 or 9, a pasty faced, skinny thing. His bare feet caked in mud up to the ankle. His hair was the queerest thing about him. He had none. He had none. I want my palfrey rubbed down and oats for all three. Can you tend to them? Oh my God. This is so cute. Let me see. So he's washing. It's so funny, dude. It's kind of funny. Anyway, the boy looked at him brazenly. I could if I wanted. Wow, it's like the boy looked at him brazenly. It's so funny. It's like I love the way George is like this is like how he thinks. It's like the boy looked at him this way in his head. The boy's looking at him basically. I could if I wanted to. And like he's a prince. He's like he doesn't really give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about you, nigga. Like his actual. Okay, I'm not reading this as a because I'm already talking about. So this isn't this isn't like a read through for like people that are just reading the book. This is I've already watched the show and I'm reading the book. I haven't watched episode 6. Um, so I guess I could talk about future events. So Egg's like, Prince, and he's just so smug about it. He's like, I could if I wanted to, bitch. That's very cute. Anyway, back to shout out to ADHD. Don't frown. I'll have none of that. I'm a knight. I'll have you know. I love that. Anyway, you know what it's just like. You don't look to be a knight. Do all knights look the same? No, but they don't look like you either. Your sword belt's made of rope. So long. That's why he doesn't like. He just thinks like, look at this fucking guy right here. Um, no, but they don't look like you either. Your sword, so long as it holds my scabbard, it serves. Now see to my horses. You'll get a copper if you do well. And on the show, he fucking jumps on a horse. He doesn't give a fuck about. Like I'm gonna do what I want. Great. As this hour, he would have expected the inn to be to the door, turn away, cloud on the as so long as it holds my scabbard, sirs. Now see to my horse. You get a copper if you do well, and a clout in the ear if you don't. He did not wait to see how the stable boy took that, but turned away and shouldered through the door. At this hour he would have expected the inn to become crowded, but the common room was almost empty. A young lordling in a fine damask mantle was passed out at one table, snoring softly into a pool of spilled wine. Otherwise there was no one. There was no one. Drunk looked around uncertainly until a stout, short, whey-faced woman emerged from the kitchen and said, "Sit where you like. Is it, is it ale you want, or food?" "Both." Dunk took a chair by the window, well away from the sleeping man. "There's a good lamb, roasted with a crust of herbs, and some ducks my son shot down. Which will you have?" He had not eaten at an inn in half a year, or more. "Both." The woman laughed. "Damn, in a half a year. Well, you're big enough for it." She drew a tankard of ale and brought it to his table. "Will you be wanting a room for the night as well?" "No." Dunk would have liked nothing better than a soft straw mattress and a roof about his head, but he needed to be careful with his coins. The ground would serve some food, some ale, and it's on to Ashford for me. How much farther is it?" "A day's ride. Bear north when the road forks at the burn mill. Is my boy seeing to your horses, or has he run off again?" "No, he's there," said Dunk. "He's my boy." So like, how long has he been there? And he's like, so what the fuck was what? So they were at the inn. So what is Ed doing? Was he working? Was he just playing like a servant? Like, what was he doing? What was he doing exactly? Like, tell me in the comments. If you're live, tell me right now. Please, please. Anyway, let me keep on going. Both Dunk took a chair by the both legs. Good one. No Dunk, but I'm like another better. He's right. No, he's there," said Dunk. "You seem to have no custom. Half the time's gone to see the tourney. My own would as well, if I allowed it. They'll have this inn when I go, but the boy would sooner swagger about his with soldiers, and the girl turns to sighs and giggles every time a knight rides by. I swear I couldn't tell you why. Knights are built the same as other men, and I never knew a joust to change the price of eggs." She eyed Dunk curiously. His sword and shield told her one thing, his rope belt and rough-spun tunic quite another. "You're bound for the tourney yourself." He took a sip of the ale, but before he answered, a nut brown color it was, and thick on the tongue. He took a sip of the ale before he answered. The way he liked it, he said, "I mean to be a champion. Do you know?" The innkeep answered polite enough. "Do you now?" The innkeep answered polite enough. Across the room, so like what? I mean, it's okay. Across the room, the lordling raised his head from the wine puddle. His face had a sallow, unhealthy cast to it. Beneath the rat's nest of sandy brown hair and blond stubble crusted his chin. He rubbed his mouth, blinked at Dunk, and said, "I dreamed of you." His hand trembled as he pointed a finger. "You stay away from me, sir. Do you hear me? You stay well away." That was in the show. Dunk stared at him uncertainly. "My lord." The innkeep leaned close. "Never you mind that one, sir. All he does is drink and talk about his dreams. I'll see about that food." She busted off. Um, Food. The lordling made the word on an obscenity. He staggered to his feet in one hand, and on the table to keep himself from falling. "I'm going to be sick," he announced. The front of his tunic was crusty red with old white stains. "I wanted a whore, but there's none to be found here. All gone to Ashford Meadow." Gods be good. I need some wine. He lurched unsteadily from the common room, and Dunk heard him climbing steps, singing under his breath. A sad creature, thought Dunk, but why did he think he knew me? He pondered that a moment over his ale. The lamb was as good as any he had ever eaten, and the duck was even better, cooked with cherries, cooked with cherries and lemons, and not near as greasy as most. The innkeep brought buttered peas as well, and oaten bread, still hot from the her oven. This is what it means to be a knight, he told himself as he sucked the last. As he pause, as he sucked the last bit of meat from off the bone. Pause. Good food, and ale whenever I want it, and no one to clout me in the head. He had a second tankard of the ale with the meal, a third to wash it down, and a fourth because there was no one to tell him he couldn't. And when he was done, he paid the woman with a silver stag, and still got a fistful of coppers. Back a fistful of coppers. It was full dark by the time Dunk emerged. His stomach was full, and his purse was a little lighter. But he felt good as he walked to the stable. Ahead, he heard a horse whicker. "Easy, lad," a boy's voice said. Dunk quickened his step, frowning. He found the stable boy mounted on Thunder and wearing the old man's armor. He's wearing his armor. The hauberk was longer than he was, and he had to tilt the helm back on his bald head, or else it would have covered his eyes. He looked utterly intent and utterly absurd. Dunk stopped in the stable door and laughed. The boy looked up, flushed, vaulted to the ground. "My lord, I did not mean thief," Dunk said, trying to sound stern. "Take off that armor and be glad that Thunder didn't kick you in that fool head. He's a warhorse, not a boy's pony." The boy took off the helm and flung it to the straw. And flung it to the straw. "I could ride him as well as you," he said. "Bold as you, bold as you please, bold as you please. Close your mouth. I want none of your insolence. The hauberk too. Take it off. What do you think you were doing? How can I tell you with my mouth closed?" It's so stupid. I missed that line during my reaction. Please go watch my reactions to the actual show. Uh, it's on the playlist. Go to my channel. Watch me live on Twitch. Anyway, close your mouth. Close your mouth. How can I do with my mouth closed? The boy squirmed out of the chain mail and let it fall. "You can open your mouth to answer," said Dunk. "Now pick up that mail, shake off the dirt, and put it back where you found it. And the half helm too. Did you feed the horses as I told you, and rub down Sweetfoot?" "Yes," the boy said, as he shook straw from the mail. "You're going to Ashford, aren't you? Take me with you, sir." Wow. Take me with you. And we now know the reason why. I mean, they tell me on streams why Egg does what he does. I felt like I was gonna eventually read that, like Egg himself would have, like, told me that, or maybe we just supposed to infer that his family sucks and Arian is an asshole. Anyway, wow, it's so cool. Wow, it's so cute. Look at his chainmail, just chainmail on, and he's just playing. It's so adorable. The innkeep had warned him of this. "And what might your mother say to that?" "My mother," the boy wrinkled up his face. My mother's dead. She wouldn't say anything. My mother, she wouldn't say anything." He was surprised. Wasn't the innkeep his mother? Perhaps he was only um apprenticed to her. Dunk's head was a little fuzzy from the L. Are you an orphan boy? He asked uncertainly. Are you okay? The boy threw back. I was once, Dunk admitted, till till the old man took me in. If you took me, I could squire for you. I have no need for a squire, he said. Wow. Every knight needs a squire, the boy said. You look as though you need one more. You look as though you need one more than most. Dunk raised the. Oh, so they disguise him. So, like, so nobody runs up on him and just steals him away. It's like, here's this little boy. Let's just fucking ransom him. Just. Maybe. Every knight needs a squire, the boy said. You look as though you need one more than most. Dunk raised a hand threateningly, and you look as threateningly. Sorry. Dunk raised a hand threateningly, and you look as though you need a clout in the air. It seems to me, fill me a sack of oats. I'm off for Ashford alone. If the boy was frightened, he hid it well. For a moment, he stood there, defiant, his arms crossed. But just as Dunk was about to give up on him, the lad turned and went for the oats. Dunk was relieved. A pity I couldn't, but he has a good life there as at the end, a better one than he actually says this in the show. He'd have a squiring for a hedge knight. Taking him would be no kindness. He could still feel the lad's disappointment, though, as he mounted Sweetfoot and took up um, Thunder's lead. Dunk decided that a copper penny might cheer him. Here, lad, for your help. He flipped the coin down at him with a smile, but the stable boy made no attempt to catch it. It fell in the dirt between his bare feet, and there he let it lie. Hmm. So it's an interesting boy. It's just like George wouldn't just do this, you know. You would see a Lord. I mean, you never guess though. You never guess though. You never guess. You never see like the Lord. Like, you never guess though. I've seen you in my dreams though. It's like, I guess so. If you're paying attention to, like, if you read a Game of Thrones, and then you read, like, I mean, oh, who knows? Who knows? I'm gonna read. Let me see, because this is a lot. I would stop here, quite frankly. This is the dwarf guy, which is cool. Oh no! Oh, this is the end of the first episode. This is the end of the first episode, I think. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna just keep on going. I think I can make it to. Yeah, I'm gonna stop here. It's a lot. You scoop it up as soon as I am done. I am gone, Dunk told himself. He turned the palfrey and rode from the inn. Let me see what time it is. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. And lead. Oh, actually, it's one. Let's stop it there. Let's stop it there. I did not know. I have to have energy. I also need to record. I gotta go to work. You'll see me tonight, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. I cannot wait for the rest of this shit.